man. Thank God it's Friday, you know? It's been a long week. I'm going through it. I'm sure you're going through it too. At least we're almost there. One more day, and you know what I mean? And it's time for the weekend. It's time for the... Wait, what? What? What do you mean it's a Monday? Oh, no! Shit. Okay. All right. We can deal with this. We can deal with this, chat. We can deal with this. You know, while we're giving you the bad news, number one, I still haven't gotten a haircut. Hey, by the way, actually, I was fucking around, but I actually do need your help with something. Hang on. How doth the stream look? How doth the stream look, chat? Because I adjusted some stuff. I know you guys think I don't do anything. Oh, is the music volume? Of course. Anyway, it's blue. It is a little blue. We could probably dial back the blue a little bit. But this is actually just how I look. I'm blue, abu dee da boo die. How's that song go? Did I just get canceled? Den of old people hearing aids. I don't know what that means. Kiss me, Joush. Maybe later. Buy me a couple drinks first. Jesus. It looks good, but the music is an issue like usual. Yeah. Is there a slight delay? You let me know. Is there a slight delay? Things might be a little biffed. You know, we could figure it out though. Looks fine as always. Get out of your own head. No, it's not that. It's the fact that I literally I changed it. I changed things. I went in there and tinkered. You know, I got in under the hood, and started tinkering. Palp says, "Hey Josh, hope the fam's doing great. Had an awesome restful weekend with friends. Was laughing about the Doomsday hype versus Clayface next fall." Oh shit, Clayface. Oh man, so excited for Clayface, yeah. No, that is kind of funny though. Yeah, no, appreciate you, brother. Yeah, obviously we're gonna get into the Doomsday leak. That's kind of what's on the thumbnail, the title, and everything. And I did a big video yesterday about the new leak. Just popped one this morning off about the post-credit scenes, and we're gonna get into it all. I wish I had my dry erase markers. I'm going to find them because I think I figured out. Remember how we used to do the whiteboard streams a lot? And ever since we got the new camera, we couldn't do the whiteboard streams. Every time I tried, like, I don't know, something with the new camera, like it would get all messed up. Well, I think I figured that out. That's kind of why I'm looking blue. But anyway, point is, now I can't find the dry erase markers. It's always something. So we'll find it. We'll get that sorted out because I thought it would have been cool to like do the whiteboard stream with this Doomsday stuff because it's nuts, and like trying to keep track of all this shit is crazy town. You know what I mean? Callisto says, really enjoying how you're doing the main channel videos lately. Very engaging and interesting. I hope you keep that up. Oh, thank you so much. I hope you're doing well, by the way. Yeah. I kind of have. Yeah, things have been going good, and I'm kind of changing up my approach to some things. I mean, the honest to God truth is, like, it's just a lot. You know what I mean? I don't like to... I'm not trying to complain. Here we are on a Monday. I've been streaming for like 5 minutes, and here I go complaining again. But I guess what I'm just trying to say is that it's just a lot to juggle all of this. I'm trying to get to a point where I can fire videos off a little bit faster and easier. Maybe lighter on the editing. It's really more about the information, the message, and the story. And I don't know, you know, just like everybody else, just trying to figure out the content game, trying different things here and there. So, yeah. seen the new Screen Crush video, Tony Stark Doom Theory. So yeah, people brought this up on the Discord. I haven't watched the video, but of course I assume that the very first thing they say in the video is, this theory is very obviously coming from Josh from Den of Nerds because he's the one that popularized this theory and has like millions of views talking about this theory. Here's the links to all of his videos. We will do a pales in comparison version over here, but we're going to attempt to replicate some of the juice that Josh from the Den of Nerds has. God damn, he good. I assume that's what they said. Bro said he's ignoring Ryan Airy. No, I like Ryan. I just would assume that he would pay the proper respects. You know what I mean? You don't want any bad karma. You know what I mean? It was me. Nobody cooking like Papa Josh. And as long as they put that exact clip in all of their videos and link to all of my accounts, including my brand new OnlyFans, we're good. You know what I mean? No worries. Josh, do you think Tatum as Gambit will stay after Secret Wars? Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, I think so, but maybe in the capacity of like whatever they're doing with the Deadpool characters. I mean, there's a lot that we're gonna get into. It would be terrible if something happened to him. Yeah. No, we're gonna get into, dude. There's a lot to get into with all of this stuff. I mean, dude, it kind of melted my brain. Thinking about all of this. And I think the one thing that's really cool, like, is just thank God they're cooking, because dude, some of those leaks were shit. And then of course, it needs to be said that like my time to suck, hello, no offense, you know, she's probably nice or whatever, but like she really does just frame everything in like the worst possible way ever. And she's just trying to, well, frankly, I think ruin my life, just me personally. I think it's just me. It's actually just me, specifically me, that she is trying to annoy, which sucks. But at the same time, yeah, you know, it's important to keep everything in perspective, because these new leaks come out and they sound really good. And like, dude, oh my, I'm telling you right there, I'll tell you like this. If we're getting even something close to what the new leaks are, we're going to be smiling ear to ear the entire time. And we're going to come out of that movie and be like, let's fucking go again, dude. Like, I want to go again, you know, like just get right in line again to go on the ride. And that would be great. That would be, I think, just what the doctor ordered, folks, you know? Anyway, we do have 3 pieces of news that I want to get into before we get into the leaks. I want to talk about how Disney needs a wake-up call, talk a little bit about the Tron stuff, and also Forbes told on Star Wars a little bit more. Holy shit, I don't know what Forbes has a vendetta against Star Wars or whatever, but they're revealing a lot of stuff. So I think we're going to have to take a peek at that, but we'll do it all within the context of like, goddamn Disney. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I think that's really the story of Disney right now. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. It is crazy to see what's going on. I mean, the new Tron movie is very likely to make less than Morbius. Deadline just reported today. Let me see here. Tron Ares reportedly will make a $132.7 million loss for Disney. Bro. So anyway, we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll linger on that a little bit. Then I want to talk about the Spider-Man first looks. We got a first look at Sadie Sink in the film. First look at Bruce Banner in the film. Interesting stuff sort of revealed about that. Then I want to talk about the Marvel Comics bullshit, man. I feel like we're down on Disney a little bit today, but honestly, they suck balls, so they deserve it. We're gonna get into the Marvel Comics stuff. There's a report out there about Jonathan Hickman and the Ultimates universe, and it kind of lines up with some other stuff that we've been talking about over the past year. I'll be fair. You know what I mean? I'll be super fair. I don't exactly know what's going on, but I'll tell you what is being reported, and then I'll give you my take, and I'll sort of talk about what I'm afraid of. Ultimately, you know, goddamn Marvel. Psh. Yeah. I'll send you the link to the article. Rob, but I will go over it in just a little bit. It's on Popverse. Here, I'll send this to you. I'll send it to you on Discord. Rob gets special treatment, chat. You understand? You understand. The rest of you can fucking wait. check that out. We're gonna go over that later. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do, and then of course we'll get into the leaks. We'll get into all the leaks about Doomsday because they're really cool, dude. Holy shit, they're cool. Oh, that's so cool. But anyway, did you guys have a good weekend? Did you guys have a good weekend, man? How are you guys doing? Give me like 5 minutes here. How you guys doing? How was the weekend? I'll give you a couple of show notes kind of stuff. No Nerd Theory tonight. I know there was some confusion about this. Theory hit me up over the weekend. No Nerd Theory tonight, so we're going to take the week off. He's traveling. I think he's either traveling this week or he was traveling late last week. I think it's this week. Either way, he needs the time to travel. Totally get it. So no Nerd Theory tonight. And I know what you're all asking. Number one, will I go live individually tonight? No, I'm playing Warhammer. And number two, everybody wants to know, will I now stream tomorrow because there's no Nerd Theory tonight? No, I've got a lot of Warhammer stuff to do. So sorry. But here's what I will say. We will absolutely be cooking this week. Wednesday, we're going to have a really dope stream. And then Wednesday night for members, we're going to have a sort of first look at the new upcoming video series that I'm working on. I've been sort of teasing this. There's this big, ambitious video series I'm working on. And I want to sort of pitch you guys some of the elements of that Wednesday night. So Wednesday night, if you remember, come on by. We'll sort of have our first look at that. We'll iron out some of the details. So that's going to be cool. Otherwise, guys, should be just kind of like a regular week. I know I'm not streaming as much, but I'm working on content. I'm working on a lot of stuff. So just trust me, bear with me. A lot of good stuff is coming. We're going to have a ton of fun. Trust. Okay. Rossi says, read my $5 super. I need your blessing. Oh my God. Why do I feel like this is about a lady? Rossi says, I'm traveling to Lake to dog sit for a friend for the week. It's 3 hours away. Can you say a prayer to protect me from the geometry, please? Well, I don't know what you mean, because maybe the geometry is just what you need. You know, in Egypt, they had something literally called sacred geometry. You know? And Plato kind of believed something similar, which was that through life and the study of like science and philosophy, you could get past the world of where we're at and into the world of forms. So while I will give you a blessing, maybe not, don't be scared of the math. Be safe. You'll be fine. Sasha says, me and the girlfriend went to a haunted artifacts at museum. Are you serious? That seems fun, but also, like, I don't know how I'd be feeling after that. Why chance it? Have you guys ever heard of Pascal's Wager? Do you guys know what Pascal's Wager is? It's a, well, I think he was actually a mathematician, but it's like it's a philosophical thing. Anybody? Religious thing? So Pascal's Wager is like basically the TLDR. It's like game theory for believing in God. It basically just says that, like, so if God is real and you believe in God, you're Gucci. If God is real and you don't believe in God, you're fucked. If God is not real and you believe in God, probably doesn't matter, because who cares? And then if God is not real and you don't believe in God, it doesn't matter, who cares? So technically speaking, just from a mathematical game theory perspective, believing in God is a better idea. It's actually not, I mean, it's just an example, right? But the point I'm making is, like, why chance that shit? That's like kind of in Pascal's Wager. Same thing with this. Why would you go to this museum with all of these artifacts? Haunted artifacts? Why risk that? That feels like I would not do that. I'm just going to be honest with you. The way I approach life, that's probably not something I'm going to do. Because, like, yeah, it's probably a good time. Like, oh, it's spooky and fun, and maybe there's a sense of adventure there. But, like, on the off chance that there is actually haunted artifacts, like, come on, man. Like, how are you serious? I don't know. You guys are crazy. That's wild to me. If it helps, I'm 90% sure it ain't really haunted, though. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, 90%. So you're taking a 10% chance. You're taking a 10% chance on fucking with ghosts. I'm just saying that's not a smart move. Louis the Jedi says 30 months, baby. Yesterday's video got me hyped for Doomsday. Thank you for everything you do. You keep my nerd inside me going and continue to be nerdy. I think I know what you mean there. You know, it's like very close to being a little weird, but thank you. Appreciate you. Much love, brother. The almighty that people believe is fake. What the fuck? Good bet you wouldn't find me anywhere near that place. Yeah, dude. No, I'm not into that. No, thank you. No, thank you, dude. Oh, God. You guys got me stuck on that one. Got me stuck on that one. Okay, let me just see what I got going on here. By the way, stream looks good and everything because we had some issues last week. I did try to fix some stuff. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to say because like I felt like I had stuff fixed, but you know how it goes. Those interdimensional beings, man, coming in here fucking with my shit. Can't you just go somewhere else in the time stream? You know what I mean? Leave me alone. Scaredy Cat still ain't watched Sinners 2, I bet. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, dude. That's what I'm saying. On the off chance that Sinners will actually invite evil spirits into my house. Can't chance it. Can't risk it. Straddle up, baby! Okay, so stream is good. I guess we'll see how it goes with the recordings and whatnot, okay? All right, let's get into some of this news then. Let's get into the news, and then we'll get into the leaks, ladies and gentlemen, okay? John Johnston says the chance of haunted artifacts is low, but never zero. Might have Palpatine return again. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, come on, man. I mean, hey, different strokes, different folks. You want to risk some devil, demon, ghost vibes shit? I'm not into it. Okay, can we... let's see here. Master and Apprentice says, just wanted to shout out my wife. We just had our second yesterday. Another girl, 9 pounds, 11 ounces. Whoa, that's a big baby. No epidural. Loving the videos and streams. Josh, Master and Apprentice, congratulations. And shout out to Master and Apprentice wifey, who's holding it down. 2 girls, 9 pounds, 11 ounces. I mean, that's a big baby. I mean, that's a big baby. Congratulations. What are you guys, giants? How tall are you? How tall is your wife? We need the details now. 9 pounds, 11 ounces? Holy! Yeah, congratulations. And that's crazy for wifey to deal with there. 9 pounds, goddamn. Whew. Okay. All right, ladies and gentle beings. Let's talk about Disney. I tell you what, maybe a good way to start this off is like, I'll pull up the chat here, guys, and we're about to talk about Disney, and I think Disney is like obviously just kind of screwed. What do you guys think? Is Disney screwed, chat? Or are people going too hard on Disney, and is Disney going to be fine? Like, what do you think? Put some of your thoughts in the chat. I just want to see where you guys are at with it. Because I think Disney, I think there's obviously people that still like Disney. I think Disney is still, for all intents and purposes, a very powerful company. I don't know what the market cap of it currently is, but, you know, I know that they've had a lot of volatility in the stock over the past couple of years. There seemed to have been a bounce back when Iger came back and sort of righted the ship a bit. But by and large, Disney has still felt on a decline. I think that's like the fair way to say it, is that Disney is on a pretty massive decline. But as you can see in chat, like there's still mixed opinions on it. A lot of people feeling differently about it. Some people think they're Teflon, you know, bulletproof. They're going to be fine. This is just an ebb and flow, right? This is just maybe a low point or an adjustment period for them. Other people are like, no, I think there's something seriously wrong here. I think there's something that is going to actually hurt them past just what has happened in the past and adjusting from trends, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I'll tell you this, man. I don't know exactly, right? I don't know exactly what's going on, but I know shit ain't great. This is pretty wild here. Tron Ares will reportedly have a loss of $132.7 million. And this is kind of wild. I saw over the weekend, and I'll pull it up for you as well. I saw over the weekend some box office tracking accounts saying that this film was literally tracking lower than Morbius. And that appears to be true. Okay, so you can see this account here. Tron Ares just made $3 million on the second Friday, headed towards about $11 million for its second weekend. That's a troublesome 66% tumble from opening weekend. 10 days below box office, Kim would reach nearly 55. The final might end up below Morbius. Holy shit. And yeah, again, looking like $132 million dollar loss when it comes to Tron. And this is in a year where Disney's having a lot of trouble. Now, Lilo and Stitch did very well. I believe they had another movie that did fairly well that has kind of saved them. And I think a lot of people are looking at the two big Disney movies for the rest of the year, which would be Zootopia 2 and, of course, the Avatar sequel, right? And an Avatar sequel especially feels like it's going to make $1 bajillion. Not so sure about Zootopia 2. But I think the truth is, regardless of how you feel about their prospects moving forward, it's pretty clear that Disney is in maybe one of the lowest, most difficult places that it has ever been. And connected to this, right? Connected to this, I want to bring this up to your attention. We spoke about this last week. Forbes has been telling on a lot of different people lately. You know, they're very good at looking at the financials. And again, I know that there's this thing where, like, people say because it's contributing reporters and not staff reporters that this is somehow bad reporting or not real. That's just not true. This is very solid reporting. And Forbes would not just put out slop of financial reporting. It would totally hurt their brand. It's just a silly thing that there's a lot of cope out there for Disney. Anyway, this is really interesting. This is the profits of Disney Star Wars. And Forbes recently said that The Force Awakens is actually the most profitable movie in the history of Hollywood, I believe, is what they said in their new reporting here. Pretty wild, right? But regardless, here's the money that was made from these different Star Wars movies. You have The Force Awakens coming in at $500 million. After that, you had Rogue One, which made $260 million. Still very, very good. Then you have The Last Jedi. Last Jedi making $324. Not terrible. Okay, not terrible. And then Solo, A Star Wars Story, making $100 million, which I don't even know how that works. I suppose that's probably from a lot of accounting tricks, basically. You know what I mean? And then, of course, The Rise of Skywalker, which we talked about last week in a video, making $48.3 million, which is pretty baffling. On the one hand, I mean, I guess I wonder what you guys think about this, right? Because you could take a look at this. It's technically that this has made over $1 billion. That the Star Wars movies in total have made over $1 billion. And maybe that's good, and you could think positively about that. I think it feels bad that they've only made $1 billion in the movie theaters, and especially when you consider that basically half of that was made by one film in Force Awakens. Yeah, I don't think this looks very good. But I think the other thing that's really interesting about this data is that it shows that there was this period at Disney where things really did start to turn. And I think the Solo Rise of Skywalker time period really does match up pretty closely with when Disney just kind of started to have that fall off. And I mean, you look at the Marvel stuff, and of course, yes, Marvel stuff, there's a caveat because there was a pandemic and it's a whole year delay and then a lot of lockdown and stuff like that. But it's the same thing. I mean, I've brought this charts up to show you guys before, but the profitability of Marvel, I mean, after Endgame takes this massive fucking drop and basically never goes back. It never goes back, right? So Disney and its two biggest brands outside of maybe Pixar, right, had at the same time this really massive decline. And years away from that, it's just really quite interesting to see just how far things have gone. You know, yesterday was the 10-year anniversary of the Force Awakens trailer. And maybe you saw this, chat. Let me know if you did. There were a lot of people sharing their memories of the Force Awakens 10-year anniversary. In fact, let me see if I can say that. Force Awakens. It'll probably, a bunch of this will probably pop up here, okay? And I saw a bunch of people celebrating it. Did you guys see a bunch of people celebrating it? You know the resounding emotion that I saw? This would be the 10 years from the very first trailer, not from when it dropped, but the very first trailer. The resounding emotion that I saw from folks out there was something like, I can't believe the feelings I had then compared to the feelings I have now. And that it's really hard to make sense of just how different those realities are. I saw a lot of people being like, I actually can't believe how little I think of Star Wars. I saw one person say, it was a pretty high profile account, say, Star Wars used to have the kind of cachet where college professors would stop class to bring out the first trailer when the first trailer was announced. Star Wars used to have cultural significance that when this movie was touring, when Star Wars was going back, it was like you'd walk into Target or Walmart or, you know, whatever store, and it seemed like the entire store was overtaken by like Star Wars fever, man. I remember times that you'd go into those stores in the holidays. You'd have this front section with all this Star Wars stuff. Then you have a back section, which was all the Star Wars holiday stuff. It was just like the biggest and craziest thing in the world, right? And I think there are, as a small side note, and we don't have to really focus on this too much, but as a small side note, of course, there are a ton of people that will not be able to recognize how bad it has become. And there's a ton of people out there that are like celebrating this 10-year thing as though nothing has happened and Star Wars is perfect and everything is great. Those people are wrong and fucking delusional. This shit is awful, and most people recognize that it's awful. And you know, for the longest time, a lot of this like Disney stuff, man, like Disney just took the perspective. I mean, I think at this point, if we're being fair about Disney, we'd have to say that during this time period around 2016, all the way until, you know, maybe 2019, 2020, maybe even it started earlier, 2013, 14, 15. All during this time period, right? Like as certain issues were bubbling up, as the culture war and the counterculture arguments to the culture war and all that sort of stuff really started to kind of take place, Disney at the very least took the stance of like, we know best. And the Disney strategy for the longest time was sort of this, we're going to act Teflon, like we're never going to admit defeat, we're never going to admit that we've done anything wrong. And that's just always been like a very Disney thing. That's always been a part of their identity. I mean, and some of this was good, some of this was bad. Back in the day, Disney actually changed copyright law. So two different ways. Public domain, there's supposed to be a thing within copyright law where after a set amount of years, IP goes into the public domain. So big companies can only have, exclusive rights to IP for certain time periods. Disney lobbied to change this. Not once, not twice, many different times. And they delayed what IP would go into the public domain, and a lot of people think they're going to do it again when we get close, because we're almost there to some of this stuff. Okay, another example is there was remember when you would put on a VHS or you'd put on a DVD and there'd be that FBI warning. Remember that FBI warning would say you could face a fine of up to $250,000, 5 years in prison, or whatever it was. Piracy, don't do it. Again, Disney lobbied to have that get put out there, to put that very stern FBI, like, we're going to come after you kind of a warning. So Disney had always had this reputation of being that kind of company. They're like a mafia. It's a mafia type company and a mafia type attitude. Piracy is a crime. That's Corey says in chat. The point I'm trying to make is like that perspective and that corporate culture, I think, was uniquely unfit for the culture war moment, the 2016 moment, you know, all the stuff that has happened since, the accelerated rate by which all of these different things are torn apart, reconstructed, discussed online. Disney is just so far behind the times. And they really fucked it up. They really fucked it up, is what I'm trying to say. And I think like years and years later, man, when I see this stuff going on, I guess what I would say is this. Different people have different takes on this. People feel differently about it. I mean, let me ask you guys this. Is there anybody here in chat that kind of wants Zootopia 2 to fail and kind of wants Avatar, the next one, to not make money? It's a genuine question. Is there anybody in this chat right now? Throw a 1 into the chat. If you actually want Zootopia 2 to underperform, and you actually want the next Avatar to underperform, throw a 1 into the chat. I'm curious. So there's a lot of people that are like, no, but there are ones in here. There are ones in here. And I would have to tell you that, you know, although I love the Avatar movies, like, and I think I'm going to go see the Avatar movie and I'm going to have a blast. I'm not putting any money on the Avatar box office, by the way. I would have to say I would throw a 1 into the chat. And I know that seems fucked up, and maybe it is fucked up, but it's also just honest. The reality of the situation is I don't like these fucking people, dude. I don't like this company. I really don't like them. And that's just me. Little old me, little old completely reasonable, never toxic, always well-reasoned Josh. I will legit get a kick out of it. The fact that Tron Ares is going to lose Disney $132.7 million, I legitimately get a kick out of it. Like, I legitimately hate this company and the idea of this company. And I want them to hurt. I want them to fail. I want them to lose money. I wouldn't be mad if Disney completely went away or was bought up by some other company, got absorbed or whatever. Like, I have literally zero connection to the company. Don't give a fuck about them. I don't have any, like, I do not care. I like the IP. I like Marvel. I like Star Wars. Never been like a Mickey Mouse guy, you know what I mean? Like, don't really care, don't really like that kind of shit. And I honestly feel, and I think a lot of people are at this point, I honestly feel like Disney has fucking ruined my favorite shit. It's as simple as that, guys. It's literally as simple as that. Let me show you something. Let me show you something else, just to kind of drive it home. Just to kind of drive it home for you, okay? You know, because some of you are like, whoa, 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 whoa. No. It's not whoa, whoa, whoa. It's hold on. Maybe he has a point. It's not whoa, whoa, whoa. Check this out. Okay, now this is a joke. Obviously, I'm not actually, you know, wanting to delete myself, but this comes from an article. Adam actually shared this article with me. And this article right here is talking about something that I had been bringing up, and that's something that I was afraid of. It says, now Bob Iger wants to wreck something else. I've been catching rumors that Disney has been sending out a lot of feelers to Games Workshop. Now, again, that's like a joke or whatever. I mean, look, I don't know that it's a joke. It was actually in an article. I don't think Games Workshop would actually sell to Disney. But just a couple of weeks ago, we heard this report that Disney actually is trying to court new entertainment to try to get young males on board. Remember that article? Remember that report? Do you remember that report? And I said I had heard that they were actually trying to get Games Workshop. And I did hear that. And I didn't know if the person was fucking with me or whatever, right? But I mean, goddamn. Okay. But like, I want to be very clear about this. I would actually freak the fuck out if Disney bought Games Workshop. I would have a meltdown. I would legitimately lose my fucking mind. And the reason is because they have ruined, or at least attempted to ruin, because, you know, hopefully this stuff can still recover, but they have ruined my favorite shit. I guess what I wonder is, why does some of you give them a pass? Did they or did they not ruin our shit? And do we or do we not want the good stuff that is out there that we like to be nowhere near Disney? Like, do you know what I mean? You're still holding on. They are the worst. Like, what do we like about them? What is even redeemable about this? Like, what is good about Disney? What even is? No. And by the way, I think that there's some evidence that a lot of people are feeling the way that I am feeling. I think there's some evidence to suggest that there's a whole bunch of people that feel this way. You know what I mean? So I don't know what the answer is, but like, dude, I don't know. I've been just thinking about it, man, because I'm just, again, this actually happened. Like Adam actually sent me that article. I actually saw it. I actually freaked out. I actually had the post. And like, guys, again, maybe for some of you, it's not as real or deep because you're not as in it, right? Or whatever. Guys, I do YouTube. I've been doing YouTube for like 9 years. Been full-time for like 5 years. It's my job. This is what I do. I get out here and it's Marvel and Star Wars mostly. You know, I cover a lot of other stuff. Those have been Disney properties. I've been watching the whole fucking thing go down. Brother, this shit is terrible. Like, this shit is terrible. We would be better off without them. So, yeah, no, I think when you look what's going on with Tron, and I feel like there's a lot of people that are just unwilling to admit about what I'm talking about. And maybe it's because there were so many really negative anti-Disney people, and there are people like Drinker, or Gary, or whoever, who have just kind of decided that that's going to be their thing, and then they've been doing it for a while, and the tone is very flagrant and offensive, and maybe it ruffles your feathers. But look at the views on their videos. Like, I would argue that they're if other people weren't as mad at Disney or feeling that way, they would not have as many views. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to say that like that's the reality of the situation, but I'm just trying to say, like, dude, let's be fair about this. How many times has my ass, legit guys, how many times has my ass had to come out this very year and talk about more bad news for Disney, more stuff Disney's doing that I don't like, more stuff that it's like, oh no, Disney. And I'm not even one of those guys that thinks they're like irredeemable. There's some things that I think they do that are actually good, and I think they could turn it around, et cetera, et cetera. But like the attitude of nothing to see here, everything's fine. I mean, I feel like that's like sleepwalking into a grave. Like I feel like that is. I feel like they should make it known that things are changing. You know what I mean? And I just don't really see it. I mean, I guess it would be up to maybe whoever Bob Iger's successor would be. But this is fucking crazy, dude. And again, a titan of the industry. And the industry could really use Disney like not being absolutely fucking terrible right now. You know, like the industry could legitimately use Disney like not putting in these bombs like this. So we'll see, chat. I'm kind of interested. We'll stop the yap. Okay, sorry about the yapping. Really don't like Disney, man. Fuck that company. Okay, let's shift though. Let us shift and talk about the Spider-Mans. Everybody loves the Spider-Mans. Hang on now. Chat, how are we feeling? Is it fuck Disney all day? Everybody is on the same page? We're going to boycott. We're boycotting everything. Are we boycotting I'll boycott Avatar. I'll boycott Avatar. I don't give a fuck. Oh my God, you guys are monsters. Yeah, fair, Adam. Yeah, fair. Okay, let's get into this, man. Let's talk a little bit about Spider-Man. Spider-Man brand new day. A lot of mystery around this one, of course. And we just got a couple of first looks from the set over the weekend. First look at Sadie Sink with Tom Holland on set of Marvel's Spider-Man, a brand new day. Pretty interesting. First look at Sadie Sink shows her alongside Tom Holland Spider-Man on the set of Spider-Man Brand New Day in London on X. UK-based photographer Unbox PhD shared an exclusive image of Sadie Sink on the set of Spider-Man Brand New Day in London. See the image below. Okay. So here's the image. Here's the image right here. Couple of things you notice here. Sadie Sink. That's Destin, the director. She's wearing a coat. Pretty cool. A lot of people mentioned, too, she has red hair. And that's crazy because some people thought she wasn't going to have red hair. And I was like, you guys are so dumb. She's obviously going to have red hair. So that's kind of cool. Other people have brought up her pants. So she's kind of got like some military boot looking things here. And the pants might be camo. Okay, I'm kind of hoping they're actually like gold. Like a metallic gold, like a real flashy, like... you know, like a sort of K-pop or a 90s boy band kind of a look, or whatever, you know, like a big puffy gold pants there. But other people think it maybe looks like camo. Yeah. Military-style boots, yellow pants, green accents. You can see the director. And then, shots of Spider-Man there. So I guess, and there were other photos too. But just right off the bat, chat, how are we feeling about this? How are we feeling about Sadie Sink? Red hair, military gear. What are we thinking here? What are the thoughts? Punisher sidekick, something is shiny. If she has puffy, it's camo, puffy camo. Yeah, hopefully. Let's overanalyze the pants choice. I agree. Let's do that. Let's overanalyze the pants choice. Who will she be? It's a decoy? Oh shit, you think it's a decoy? Gonna lay hands if Sadie kisses Tom? Oh damn, okay. I'm leaning Punisher side chick. Interesting. That's definitely gold. I think it looks gold, yeah. What the heck? Where you get gold from? Yeah, isn't that funny? This guy's like, it's definitely gold. And this guy's like, where you get gold from? It's like the blue and white dress or whatever. So pretty much all the scoopers were wrong, like my time in RPK. Well, I'm not sure what that means because I think they've had multiple ideas of what this is. Look, I mean... could be a Punisher side chick lady, you know, redhead Punisher chick lady. I, of course, fucking hate that because it's no girls allowed and that's some silly, stupid Disney shit. And I'm over it. So no, thank you. Really hope she's not camo redhead Punisher lady. Like imagine a scene between her and Tom Holland and Spider-Man's just like, what's your deal? And she's like, I'm like Punisher, except I'm a redhead. And I'm also a lady. And then he's like, it's about time, if you ask me. So that sucks. I hope that's not what it is. That would be really stupid and very shitty. Other things that it could be. I've some of them are hinting, like Shine and them have hinted that maybe she has powers. So maybe she actually has powers. I mean, I don't know. What could it be gold disco pant lady like Jean Grey? Has Jean Grey ever worn gold puffy pants and military boots like that? I don't know. That could be interesting. Some people are saying maybe Firestar. I've heard that as well. It could be Firestar. Yeah. That could be cool. So that could be interesting. I wonder about because I heard maybe she's like Captain Universe or the multiverse in some way. Some people are saying she'd be connected to that spider entity thing. I mean, man, we've really been all around any possible character that Sadie Sink could be. Some people say there's a shapeshifter in this movie, so like I don't know. So yeah, that's kind of the take there. A lot of mystery. We're not really sure. Now, another thing that happened, right, was this. We got to see Mark Ruffalo's. He's on set for Spider-Man, brand new day. Very interesting. Now, the one thing that's really crazy, people are saying, was that, and there were a bunch of TikToks and videos shared of this, but he was on set in some kind of stretcher, Inhuman Hulk form. Okay, and this was shot with a bunch of like dust on him and debris. It seems to be after some big action sequence. So people are like, oh, okay, wow, you know, Banner going back to human form, which technically I guess is teased up in the Shang-Chi post-credit scene. He can technically go human form again, but yes, there'll be human and Savage Hulk happening once again. And Hulk is out on a stretcher. Banner's out on a stretcher. What could be so crazy and violent that it could actually hurt Hulk so bad that he would go back into Banner form and then be wounded? Well, I hope the answer to that is the mother-loving Punisher, man. I hope Frank Castle has like a War Machine suit or something, and I hope he's beating Hulk's ass, dude. I want to see Punisher go insano, because a lot of people right now I've seen in the commentary in the community, oh, dude, Punisher, even with this, what's he gonna do to Hulk? He's not gonna do shit to Hulk. Guys, if Frank Frank is a good matchup for Hulk because he doesn't have to hold back at all. And he has all this military training. He's very smart. Punisher versus Hulk could be fucking awesome. So I'm hoping it's just brutal, man. I'm hoping it's brutal and super savage. But yeah, that's kind of what people are talking about, man. Bruce Banner, Hulk on a stretcher, seems wounded. Kind of a soft confirm of Savage Hulk here. Oh, and then this lady too. We got this lady here. I forget what her name is. But yeah. So again, people still think, well, what does it say here? This is kind of interesting. So it says, spoilers ahead. If Shartha manipulating Banner to turn back into Savage Hulk, Peter and Punisher stopping an angry Hulk controlled by rage. They also stop Scorpion. It's a battle in New York. They save Bruce Banner, who is in human form. Frank is the MVP of the battle. I like that. Also, there's technology to control and keep Hulk in human form. The events of Cap 4 have consequences. Scorpion is also apprehended. When Frank and Spider-Man finish, a group of Avengers approaches, waiting to recruit them. Yelena and Sam's Avengers both are recruited. Wait a minute. What the fuck? What's that from? Is that from that Discord? Hold up. It is Saharthra manipulating Banner to turn back into Savage. Peter and Punisher stop Angry Hulk controlled by rage. They also stop Scorpion. It's a battle in New York. They save Bruce Banner who's in human form. Frank is MVP of the battle. I like that. Also, technology to keep Hulk in human form. Okay, so that could make sense there from maybe damage control or something. The events of Cap 4 have consequences. Scorpion is also... Oh, okay, so the events of Cap 4 have consequences. So damage control probably has anti-Hulk stuff. Okay. So as Frank and Spider-Man finish, a group of Avengers approaches wanting to recruit their team. Yelena, Avengers vs. Sam's, both are rejected by Spider-Man and Frank. Wow, okay. The actions of Banner will be judged. He could be placed in isolation on the raft. Abomination game. So I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know how accurate that spoiler part is. It could be from some of the leaks. This character here, the Shathra character. So this is a character. It's connected to the Spider Queen. Technically has some multiversal elements and stuff as well. Geeky Cast and some other people kind of think that Shathra could be that character. Even Charles Murphy has hinted that this could be what it is. So let me look this up for you. Let's see here. Get a little TLDR on the Shathra character. She's a villain from the Spider-Man comics, mystical wasp-like predator who hunts spider totems across the multiverse. So that's the whole thing that is connected to the Web of Life and Destiny in the multiverse. She first appeared in the Amazing Spider-Man 46, 2002, written by Michael Michael Krasinski. That's interesting, and John Romita Jr. She's not a normal human or supervillain. She's a cosmic predator, part of the Spider-Verse's mystical mythology of the great web of life and destiny. She feeds on spider totems, bringing connected spider powers affected by fate. Peter Parker and other spider people. She's been described as a wasp goddess or an insect deity, the embodiment, natural enemy of the spiders in the mythical terms. Shathra came to Earth hunting Spider-Man, drawn to his totemic essence. She was possessed as a seductive newscaster, manipulating the media to turn the public against him. After an intense fight, Peter barely survives, goes to the astral plane with the help of Madam Web and other mystical entities. Yes, she seems wild. She's the dark reflection of the Web of Life and Destiny. Yeah, so it's that spider totem shit. So I don't know. It would be an adjustment of what that character was in the comics, right? It would be a little bit different. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of interesting. Chat, what do you think? Thoughts on the Spider-Mans? Thoughts on Spider-Man's brand new day? These leaks are wild. There's still a lot we don't know. I think in some ways, all of the leaks for Doomsday have overshadowed the leaks for Brand New Day. Or maybe they're just doing a really good job of holding stuff back. We still don't really know who the villain is, which, by the way, I'll just throw this out there. And I can't really tell you. Well, I can say part of it. I actually think the villain is going to be Blackheart, which I know makes like zero sense. But I've been told maybe the villain is Blackheart. And technically, Alex Perez has teased this a little bit. Blackheart's like one of the sons of Mephisto. I don't know. Maybe. I just bought the first appearance of Shurthra for $5 just in case. Hell yeah. Villain for what? Spider-Man. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. I wish Mysterio was still around. Dude, Gyllenhaal's Mysterio is so good. Hey, by the way, total side note ADD thing here, but I watched the Denis Villeneuve movie Enemy the other night. You guys ever watch that? Gyllenhaal plays like two versions of himself. He plays himself and then a doppelganger. Yo. Incredible movie. Holy, dude. Incredible movie. Carl has a black heart. That's true. Carl does have a black heart, actually. Yeah. 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 Mysterio was right. Right about what? He might have been right about 616. How did he know that? You know, Michael Waldron one time gave a really weird answer about Mysterio. Made me really interested. He was like, oh, yeah, that guy. What does that guy know? Very interesting. Like something like that. And I was like, dude, what? What does he know, Michael? You tell me. Motherfucker. Sadie Sink's character will be as important as Giancarlo Esposito. God, I hope not. Wow, what a disappointment Giancarlo was in that movie. God, I know he probably got a couple of millies and like whatever, but like, that whole situation was so terrible. Did you agree with Screen Crush rewatch of Fantastic Four? Did you agree with Screen Crush rewatch of Fantastic Four? I'm not sure what that means, buddy. Is that the one with the fucking spider? Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah, great movie, dude. So Silver Sable, Hulk, Scorpion, Kingpin, now Blackheart are the villains for this movie now? At least, dude. At least. I'm still wondering where 838 Franklin Richards. I need that explained. Yep. Fair. I didn't know you were cultured, Josh. I mean, you know, I try. Man. How do you think Ultron will play in with all these characters? I don't know that Ultron will play a big role in any of this. Yeah. Sadie Sink is playing Rachel Cole mixed with Carly Cooper. Jean Grey made a Swartha. Yeah, that's an older black one playing Jean Darrow. Termel is playing Kang, great leader dude. Something like that could be happening. I would be interested in something. I just hope they're cooking, man. I got to tell you, if they legit got Sadie Sink and they were like, hey, we want to do this derivative female Punisher character with you. What do you think? Like, I don't know, man. Like, at some point, like, first of all, why are they even doing this? Number two, like, are there going to be any agents that are like, this is actually going to hurt your career? People are going to fucking hate you. You know what I mean? What a stupid thing. I hope it's not what it is. Yeah. They're going for the Sinister 66 at this point. I don't know. Maybe. Okay, that's all the stuff with there with the Spiders Mans. Okay. I just want to do one more thing here, guys, and then we'll get into the leaks, okay? All right. By the way, stream everything, flowing, everything good. I think we're doing good, eh? I think we're doing good here, chat. Okay, we got to talk about this. It's Marvel Comics, but it's also Marvel in general, man. I got a bad feeling about this. I got some bad vibes on this. And I want to be clear. I don't know exactly what is happening. I'm not as plugged in on the comic side as I am plugged in on the movie side. However, you know, ever since Kevin Feige became like CCO of all of Marvel Entertainment, which kind of quietly happened about 3-4 years ago. You know, he had the ability to kind of change everything, and there was this MCUification that started to happen at Marvel Comics. Dan Buckley, who's the publisher at Marvel, not the editor-in-chief, but the publisher, and has an office right next to Kevin Feige in Hollywood. Dan Buckley, from what we understand, has been somewhat instrumental in making some of the changes to Marvel Comics that fans have taken objection to that seem to be pushed by an MCU-centric vision for the future of Marvel. We talked about this in the past, but apparently the Krakoa era was quietly killed, not because of editorial, but because of publishing. Dan Buckley made that call. Apparently, Dan Buckley was also the guy that made the call for Ms. Marvel being killed in a Spider-Man book, only to be re-brought back into the X-Men line because of MCU synergy. We have discussed this a couple of times in the past. Okay? So, Ultimates Universe. You guys know about the Ultimates Universe? Chat. Hey, chat. Do you know about the Ultimates Universe? Chat, y'all know about the Ultimates Universe? And I see that 10, man. I'll get to that 10 later. Appreciate you, Shalami. Guys, Ultimates Universe, big new reboot, soft reboot, alternate dimension, Elseworld thing that Marvel has been doing. It's been a big hit. You know? I'm way behind on these books. I literally have a stack, and I'm actually going to do a whole video where I'm going to pile up all the books. Because I actually bought them all physically, and I have all of them. So I'm going to like pile them up and read all of them, and do a whole thing where I go over my thoughts on it all. But these have been popular books, and a lot of people are very excited about them, particularly the Spider-Man and the Ultimates book. Denise Camp is I think one of the best up-and-coming writers in the comic book scene. Big heavy hitter, doing great things, and his Ultimates run is absolutely incredible. And Jonathan Hickman obviously is who he is, and his Spider-Man run has been incredible. The other books have been good, but it's really been kind of driven by those two books. So, the Ultimates Universe architect Jonathan Hickman didn't expect Marvel Comics to close the line down. This has been making the rounds. Now, this is a guy, Comics Jeff, professional comic book clapper. He's just like a comic book account on social media. This is a pretty popular post, though. 2 million views on this post, guys. 2 million views. 6K likes, almost 1,000 bookmarks. This thing did some numbers. And what he is bringing up here is a line in the story. I'll read it to you guys right here. Marvel announced the shuttering of the Ultimates line initially at New York Comic Con 2025's Retailer Day, and then confirmed it 3 days later during its fan-facing Marvel Comics Next Big Thing panel, where Marvel Comics publisher Dan Buckley shared Hickman's initial reaction to finding out that the line would end with the final issue of Ultimate Endgame in April of 2026. We were at one of those creative retreats, and I was sitting next to him. We're just talking, and he's like, well, we're finishing our stories. Then you could do that. I said, no, you're done. Buckley remembered. I was by myself with John. Jonathan's looking at me. He goes, what do you mean we're done? I said, we're shutting it down. He goes, why are we shutting it down? I said, it's the end, right? Okay, now, somewhat innocuous, not necessarily a smoking gun. Now, a lot of people are bringing up in response to this thread here. Now, this thread is from Denise Camp. I think Denise is awesome, dude. And a lot of people are saying that this thread is a somewhat of a rebuttal to this story about Hickman and everything there, okay? And what Denise says here is thread. Okay, the end of the Ultimates universe, from my perspective, it's true that the original plan was not to end the universe. A lot of my run is setting up characters I hoped would go on past me. I think I've made that clear and obvious, but John was ending his run at 24. That was always the case. He was done. Preach and Brian were both ending their stories when the Maker got out as well. That was their decision, according to what I've been told my interactions with them. And it makes sense. Think about it. Peach is writing and drawing every issue for 24 issues. That's insane. Yeah, that is insane. She works like 20 hours a day on that book. No joke. She's the hero of the line. She deserves a break if she wants one. Totally fair. Wolverine was only meant to be 12, and then it got extended to 16. The other creators were offered more issues to run alongside Endgame, but they were declined. I saw that. The only person who planned on continuing was me. Yeah, okay, all right. Initially, still very early, those books were going to end as those creators left, and Ultimates would have continued on the new books I launched. I was prior, blah, 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 blah. But then Will Moss came to me and said, hey, I think we're going to end it. End it. This was a long time ago, at least a year before now, I think, but I'd have to check. Not because the books are too woke. If it were that, they'd interfere with the writing of it, which they haven't, or because the main line is jealous. This is silly. Money is money to them, but because everything seemed to be coming to a natural conclusion. Now, I actually will take some objection to this point that he made here, but this is his perspective. They felt that had something special with the universe as it was, consistent creative vision that told their stories and had a clear beginning, middle, and end. An accessible creator forward reimagined of the Marvel Universe, a version of the never-ending story that ended. And that the purity of that vision, they thought could pay dividends for a long time after if it didn't overstay the welcome, dilute it, or fumble the ending. Yes, I had plans for stuff after continuing this world. Part of me was bummed about that, but in my heart, I think I knew it'd be lesser. Moreover, for me, the Ultimate Universe has been a place for trying new things in comic, radical things. Fair. Whether it's the real-time pacing or the radical inventions of Marvel characters or the formal place that characterized my run, that's what excited me about the Ultimate Universe. Excites me still. And this really, truly ending universe on a high note, having it be this contained thing, giving it the story and end, that's radical for Big Two Comics. It's something that, to the best of my knowledge, has never been done on the scale by Marvel and DC. This is exciting to me. I hope it's exciting for you, but by all means, anybody feel blah, blah, blah. Okay, so totally fair from his perspective. The thing I take issue with, okay, the thing that I think is just actually not true, and this is only because I have seen firsthand how profitability is not always put as the most important thing, especially when like legacy and other important things to very powerful people are on the line. So Denise says, not because the books are too woke. If it were that, they'd interfere with the writing of it, which they haven't, which is kind of an interesting point, right? Again, I'm actually not reading too much of it. I know Denise himself is a very woke person, very, politically active, et cetera, et cetera. You guys know how I feel about that. Your mileage may vary. I actually don't give a fuck. I think he's an interesting guy. I think he's smart. I think he writes well. Some of you will care one way or the other. You'll be like, oh, that's awesome. I love his stuff. Now I want to read it because he believes this. Or some of you will say, I can't fucking believe it. I don't want to read his shit because he believes this. That's on you guys. But then he says here, the main line is jealous. This is silly. Money is money to them. No, not true. Unfortunately, I've been doing this long enough to know that that's actually not true. Not all money is green to all people in Hollywood. And here is where some of the paranoia that I have for this situation comes in. Okay, we're speculating. This is speculative territory, okay? But Denise himself, I think we might see start to do a lot more DC work than Marvel work just in general. And I think if you watch the behavior of some of the things that he's doing online, you could even sort of get some sense of an undertone of he's a little upset with some of the corporate things that have happened at Marvel, Disney, and it is even possible that that is somewhat connected to what has happened with the end of this universe. I'm going to say it to you like this. There's a couple of different things that pop into my mind, okay? One thing that I can't get out of my head, and I would really love it if somebody at Marvel would be able to reach out to me and dispel me of this belief, because I just can't let it go. And unfortunately, I keep thinking about it when situations like this come up. There were some rumors and reports that came out around 2020 that suggested that Disney was taking a different approach with content, mostly the adapting of comic books, and that they didn't want to strictly directly adapt comic books at all anymore. And part of this gets into some of the situations where, like, if you remember, Bo DeMeo has talked about publicly how there were certain executives that actually thought it was a bad thing if you were too much of a comic book fan. And if you wanted to do too much of a direct adaptation of stuff that had happened in comic books, they didn't want that. I think Poe has even gone so far as to mention who that was. I'm not going to say it, but he has gone that far. And there have been these other reports, and we look at the Dan Buckley thing, we look at this, and we look at that. And then I look at, just frankly, Jonathan Hickman. Okay, as a big fan of Marvel, right? Every single time in the last 10, 15, 20 years that I can fucking remember Marvel Studios being close to being back on track and actually killing it is all connected to Jonathan Hickman. Walk with me on this point, because I'm actually getting a little fucking pissed about this. The Secret Wars, Avengers run into Secret Wars. Krakoa X-Men, and the Ultimates universe. 3 different time periods that I can think of that Marvel Comics itself had incredible success and was the closest that it had been since maybe the 90s to like tapping into that actual zeitgeist, and like the comic book thing itself was blowing up. The thing, not the movies, not the show, not the video game, but the comic, the book itself was blowing the fuck up. The only 3 times that I can think of Marvel doing that are Hickman shit. Secret Wars, the Krakoa X-Men, and then Ultimates. Now, Ultimates is not like his baby. Obviously, he's a part of it. And I know they cooked it up for a while, and they were cooking it up before he even was on board. A lot of rumors that even other writers were potentially going to be involved and got moved off of it, et cetera, right? But the point I'm making is like this. As a comics fan, and as a big Jonathan Hickman fan, it's really fucking frustrating to sit back and be like, wait a minute, so this dude's killing it. This is now 2 times that it feels like Marvel Comics has rugged him. Meaning, oh, here's this big cool thing. Hickman has this vision. Here's the future of it. We're going to pull the rug out. Krakoa, gone. Ultimates universe, gone. Now, again, it's fair to say, and I know Denise is saying that like Hickman's 24-issue run was always going to be, he had 24 issues on Spider-Man. Totally. But like, Buckley himself at New York Comic Con said that at a creative retreat, not at the coffee shop this morning, but at a creative fucking retreat, Hickman was telling him, the publisher, about all the things they could do with the Ultimates line, which is this big successful thing, which again comes out of the thing that he created and was at least a part of. Holy shit. And I think God's happened the same way. Dude, it's so frustrating. And part of it's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Marvel, are you afraid to just give Hickman the credit? Like, is that what it is? Is it like, we can't just have it be the Hickman show? Because then all the success that happens from that would then have to go directly to the Hickman estate. And we know in 20 years' time, when all of these contracts are being renegotiated, that we don't want it to be the case that a court will see that, oh, very clearly this one individual guy and his creative work was this big influence, and so therefore he needs this huge part of the pie. Like, is that what it is? Because it's starting to feel like that's what it is. And that sucks. Because, like, what if you just flipped that script on its head? What if instead of that you were like, oh, John, you know, you're obviously a creative power force, maybe the GOAT in comics currently. And you've done an incredible job adding to the catalog of Marvel and really bolstering the brand of Marvel Studios. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, John. You do all the best shit. We're using all your shit in the MCU. So let's lean into it. Let's sign a contract, bring you in as an advisor. You're very clearly responsible for a lot of this stuff. So come in officially and work with us. We will renegotiate your royalties. You're going to get paid. You're going to get rich. You're actually going to get rich. Rich. And we're going to lean in, my guy. And you and your family and everything, you're going to be taken care of forever. But, like, let's do this. Like, let's just do this. And I'm a fan. I'm just some idiot on the internet whose hair is crazy, doesn't really know what the fuck he's talking about. But also, I've been doing this for a while. I've been following this for a long time. I'm a super fan. And I'm asking these questions. I'm concerned. And I'm like, brother, look, we live in a world where like we're talking about Disney, right? We're talking about Disney and their decline. We're talking about Marvel, their decline. Star Wars, their decline. You have maybe the GOAT. You have like the Wayne Gretzky, you have Tiger Woods. You've got Michael Jordan of comic books right now. Kevin, you have Michael Jordan right now, and you want him on a 1099. You're keeping him at arm's length. You're changing his shit up because you don't want to sign the Nike deal. You don't want him to get 50% of each sneaker. Like, this is fucking crazy to me. If this is what it is, then this sucks. And look, last thing I'll say on this. Let's keep an eye on this, huh? Let's keep an eye on this. Let's see what happens. What is Denise? Is he doing more Marvel? What if he doesn't? What if he's just on DC now? Is Marvel getting any talent? It seems like a lot of talent's going to DC these days. Seems like a lot of talent's going to DC these days. Seems like DC's all in is just going to keep going and going and going. And Marvel's like legit like, hey, number one, there's some weird Disney shit going on. Let's just be real. Weird Disney shit. Number two, there could be this contract thing. Number two, it could be an ego thing. Look, Bo DeMayo claims that Kevin is threatened by how successful X-Men 97 season 1 was because it didn't have anything to do with Kevin. That's Bo's claim. Okay, that's out there. Chat, what do you think about that? Do you believe that? Do you believe that that's actually the case? Because some of this other stuff is kind of starting. I mean, it kind of seems like it could line up with like, well, why are you destroying all of this guy's stuff? Why are you not just like letting the good work, the good creators cook? Yeah, this is a tough one, man, because here's the thing, Marvel, maybe this is all bullshit. Well, guess what? You have the ability to come out and like say stuff. You have the ability to like make moves. You have the ability to do stuff. Take control of the narrative. Make me feel better about this shit. Make the Marvel fans feel better about this shit because we're about to geek out about Doomsday and it is very exciting and we're very, very excited about it. But there's some shit going wrong at Marvel, man. You guys need to get your house in order. And this is just like one more example of like, this doesn't feel good. Like this doesn't feel good. So that's the take, man. I just wanted to bring that up. And now I'm too tired. I'm too tired to do the rest of the stream. So we're just gonna have to call it there, guys. We're gonna have to call it there. It's been a really good stream. Yeah. Trev says, it's the keeping creatives in their own boxes, i.e. Filoni. Until recently, Hollywood doesn't like using OG creatives in a lot of their processes. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with that, Trev. That's actually true. Yeah. That is what's going on. At least in part. Let me catch up on some of these soupies. I know I missed some soupies here, guys. Hang on. I never read the Krakoa era. Is it worth a read? Is there any woke in it? I think there's, yeah, I mean, I would say if there's X-Men, there's probably going to be some woke in it. You know what I mean? Your mileage may vary on how you feel about it. I didn't read all of it. There was stuff I really liked in it. I think it starts incredibly strong. I really like the Way of X stuff and some of the stuff they did with Legion. The Acrico and like X of Swords stuff got a little out there for me. But then again, I kind of liked it. It was, I'll tell you this about the Krakoa era. It got weird. It got wild. And that was fun. You know what I mean? It got really weird. It got really wild. There were some fun things going on. There's some stuff I don't like, but overall, a very interesting time period. And I haven't read all of it. I've read like the big events. Yeah. Krakoa is cool. Do you think they'll make Scar cool somehow? Says Chemical Mage. I really hope so. I think you're talking about Hulk's son. You know, in the videos from the last couple of days, we went over, Secret Wars stuff. And one of the things I talked about in the video even today, I believe, was it's interesting to think about what characters might survive into Battleworld and then what characters will just be on Battleworld in the 1600 version. And it seems like Hulk, She-Hulk, and Scar are that. They're going to be like the 1600 version. So, yeah, I mean, that automatically is pretty cool. Maybe it'll be, give them a little more juice, story juice. Shalami, thank you for the 10 spot, says, what's up, Josh? I just read the 2008 Spidey and X-Men team-up series with Mr. Sinister teaming up with Kraven. That would be a perfect story to do for the reboot. I hope that it happens. I'll have to check that one out. That's not ringing any bells, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's cool. John Johnston says U.S. government be like, public domain is a thing. Disney be like, you don't say that. Yeah. That's kind of exactly what it is, actually. Yeah. Marvel made Josh quit the stream. They did. They got me down, Rob. Yo, real talk though. I got to use the restroom, guys. I'll be right back, and then we'll get into the leakage because it's pretty cool, man. The leakage is pretty cool. The leakage is pretty cool, man. I'll be right back. Hey, by the way, where was the fucking Dragon Ball announcements? Am I crazy? I thought that was supposed to happen on Sunday. Did I get the Sunday wrong? Did I get the wrong Sunday on that? Martis! Appreciate the 5-spot, brother. Thank you. Hell nah. Hope that was a burn-free leak. I don't know what that means, but nope. They announced they're making future announcements. No way. No way, really? Get out of town, huh? Read my member stream, bub. I did. Wait, no, I didn't. There's a strange comfort in this wild world to just unplug serious brains and nerd the F out in this community. Disney bought and ruined childhoods too, G. I know, dude. Can you fucking believe it? And yes, I agree with you, brother. And that's, I'm happy to provide that. Appreciate you, man. You heard the rumor that Gunn might quit? No, fire it into the chat. Let's go. Gunn might quit? Pussy. I mean, that's too bad. What? Show me. Where's it at? Wash my belly? Sorry, Sam. Wrong stream, bud. I think you can find that on Twitch. I think you can find that on Twitch. There's probably a category for that. When we doing another marathon stream, what's that? My childhood. Oh, okay, gotcha. Jesus Christ. Twitch links linked below. Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. 100%. 100%. This is bullshit. What the hell is this shit? Get out of here. Get. All right, let's talk about these leaks, man. Let's talk about these leaks. These leaks, chat. My God. I guess I should say spoiler warning, but a lot of you know what it is. Wow. So these came out over the week. I think some of you were even asking me about this on Friday, probably. I think they technically came out like last week at some period. And I think a lot of you were hitting me up on Friday. Oh, they were on Friday? Yeah, a lot of you guys were like, yo. So I looked at them on Saturday. I actually recorded that video on Saturday, but it just took me a little bit to edit. Because I just was like, I want to just do the editing myself. Because I was working on new stuff with like the camera and shit like that. So, yeah, so the leaks came out. I was like, wow, this is fucking crazy. So the thing that's really wild about them is So it suggests that there will be two big fights at the end of the film. Okay. And one of them we kind of knew would be there, and that's the one that's the one on the Void, according to these leaks, right? And we knew that one would be there, but then there's this other one that was like, oh, it's actually going to be a massive battle in New York City. Now, what the leak says is that it's 838. Okay, so that's Universe 838 fighting against 616. Now, I don't think that's a mistake, actually. I don't think that that's like, oh, shit, it's actually supposed to be 828. No, I think it's going to be 838. But really, like, if you really look at the leak, it's suggesting that what's really happening is all of these different Earths are going to be, like, fighting for their survival, and everybody's going to be, like, all crazy and desperate. And at some point, everybody's going to realize that there's no hope. There's no hope. Everything's just going to be destroyed. Now, the one thing that makes me think of, right? One thing that makes me think of is, okay, so does that mean other Earths will be destroyed throughout the film? Here's just one example that I'm thinking of. The X-Men Earth. Okay, it's Universe 10-0005 or whatever. It's the one with friggin' Beast, Monica Rambeau, Charles Xavier. That's the one that is apparently with the X-Mansion. You're gonna have Magneto, the Magneto family. That universe, okay? The leak says, the new leak says that the X-Men will be there in New York fighting against Doctor Doom and potentially fighting against 838 as well. Okay. Now, what that makes me think is like, okay, that universe is probably already destroyed. And I think we're going to see several universes destroyed. You know what? You know what I think this is, guys? I think this is why they removed the Incursion from the Marvels. Because this will be the first time that we're seeing full-blown actual incursions. And I think we might see several of them. So, like, for instance, we kind of think maybe Tobey Maguire's universe will be destroyed in this movie. That's kind of like a rumor. That's not in this new leak, but it's kind of out there, right? And so maybe at the beginning of the movie, it's like Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, and then like he sees this Earth in the sky, and then, the Earths start colliding and shit like that. Or maybe Doctor Doom and his cabal comes down and literally wipes out Tobey's Earth. And then Toby's like taken away by Loki in the TVA or something like that, right? So anyway, the point is, it's possible we might see several Earths being destroyed here, because that could happen. You could also get that X-Men universe that's destroyed. We could also see the Fantastic Four universe get destroyed, because if we get to the final Earth, the final two, then it's very likely the case that like the Fantastic Four universe is already gone. Maybe like the Black Panther universe is gone at that point. If that gets introduced as well, like we could see like various universes all being destroyed. And then it gets to a point where it's 838 and it's 616, but also it's Doctor Doom. So this was part of it that was a little bit confusing for me. They talk about several big things that happened. So they talk about how Sentry and Void goes crazy on 838 and starts like destroying everything, sucking everything into the Void. And then Charles Xavier ends up freeing the Void. Well, here's the thing. Is that 838, Charles? Because it can't, if it's 838, Charles, I guess then yes, he's trying to stop and save, because Void is actually being used by Doctor Doom. Sure, maybe you could see that going on. Could end up being the Charles Xavier from the X-Men universe, and he's now with the Avengers on 616, but still thinks it's too much destruction if the Void goes crazy, right? So Wanda is apparently working with Doctor Doom. She's going to have a crazy fight against Phoenix Jean Grey and then Phoenix Cyclops, which is, again, like, guys, come on. This is crazy. 838's Charles is super dead. Yes, but I think this is something we're going to have to get over because 838, those characters could come back to life. Technically, we're about to see a bajillion characters come back to life. So I wouldn't get too caught up on like, oh, 838 is gone. Because remember, they have the Time Stone, number one. So Baron Mordo with the Time Stone can bring all of them back. Number two, it's technically possible that the incursion happens at a different time period where they're all back. Wanda herself in that universe could bring them all back. Doctor Doom could bring them back. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways that could go. Just Jack says 838 Professor X is already dead. Right. Yeah, I just explained that. So that's kind of interesting. Now, here's another part of it that's wild, right? The leak says that Wanda is saved by Clea and Doctor Strange. Okay, that's kind of interesting. So Clea is saved by, Wanda is saved by Clea and Doctor Strange. That implies a couple of different things. Number one, it implies that maybe Phoenix Force Cyclops is like very strong and ends up being able to like beat Wanda, which would be nuts. Like that would be pretty crazy. Or maybe there's other people teaming up on her as well, like King Thanos or whatever, right? So Clea and them end up saving Wanda and bringing Sentry and Wanda to Doom. Everybody brings these characters to Doom. So it really seems like Doom had people working for him. He has this Illuminati, right? Which in the leaks they say is the Maker, Maestro Hulk, King Thanos, Black Swan, Namor, and something else. Let me see. I got to pull this up. I'll pull up the overall leaks for you. I mean, this is just like, I wanted that, man. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted that so badly because I just think that any of the juice that we can get from Hickman's stuff, again, as I literally just talked about before, is like so freaking important, right? So here, let's pull this up and we can kind of go over some of this together. This is fucking crazy, dude. Okay. So, the two main battles at the end of New York, right? You have 616 face off against those of 838. Among the heroes on 616 are Spider-Man, the Young Avengers, the Wakandans, Guardians of the Galaxy, the Mutants. It's a full-scale endgame level fight with teams reuniting for the final time. So, that's one part saying that all of the 616 teams will be reunited, but it also says the Mutants, Guardians of the Galaxies, and the Wakandans. So is that the mutant? That's what I'm saying. Is like the mutants on 616. Is that the mutants from that other universe? Like, do some of them get? Because we know some of the Fox X-Men are supposed to survive into Secret Wars, and they're going to be some of the characters that survive in the raft, right? So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Probably 10000, right? It's probably them. Elijah with a $20 holla says, I don't want to see the return of a bunch of heroes just to get killed off. Kind of feels juiceless to see obscure characters like Elektra actually survive and be an Obi-Wan to the new young heroes would be more interesting. Wait, what? I don't want to see the return of a bunch of heroes just to get killed off. Feels fruitless. Well, look, this was always going to happen, and not all of them are going to get killed off. I think what here's what I think they're doing. So Doomsday is technically time runs out. It's going to introduce like the time runs out elements. So I think part of that is creating the stakes for the individual characters when we're in the Secret Wars movie. Because just like in Endgame, it has to be this idea that they can't let go of what they once had, like what they lost, and they have to like fight for that to like want to still be around. So that's like the whole thing. Meaning, you'll have Cyclops. You'll probably have like Cyclops, Storm. I mean, I think this leak says it's Cyclops, Storm, Iceman, Shuri, Reed Richards, Captain Marvel, Vision, Wong, Young Avengers, right? So those characters all make it. So because those X-Men characters might see their universe destroyed and a lot of their people die, then on Secret Wars, they're then able to, because of the wanting and missing of what happens, fight to bring it back. And the catharsis then is like resetting stuff back on the shelf. Does that make sense? So yeah, there's totally like a story way that they could make this go. And also, no offense to you, Elijah, but like almost every time you talk about story, it's like, I'm like, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. But it's all good. Okay, keep going here. I think it's dope that you would have all of these characters together. I like the endgame level idea. And, you know, the other thing, too, that really needs to be mentioned here, and I want to bring up a couple of images for you, okay? I want to bring up a couple of images for you because I really want you to sit with this. Hang on. Let me get this pulled up for you. Okay, here's one. Holy. And then here's one here. Okay, so I want to talk about a couple of different things for you, okay? So, in the leak, it's talking about this massive battle, this like, you know, it says in New York City, heroes of 616 face off against those of 838. Among the heroes are, you know, these characters reuniting for the final time. Meanwhile, the heroes and villains of 838, led by Dr. Doom's team known as the Cabal and commanded by King Thanos, Maestro, and other powerful beings, prepare to fight. During the battle, several major heroes are killed. Jean Grey faces off against Wanda Maximoff, who is being manipulated by Dr. Doom, just like the Sentry. Okay, real quick, though. This fight is going to be, like, he's saying, in the leak it says, 616 is reunited for the final time. And then it says the heroes and villains of 838 prepare to fight. And they're also going to be led by Dr. Doom's people. So what that implies is that heroes and villains on 838 will kind of, you know, be on Doom's team or whatever. They're going to unite. And then I think you're going to get a battle like this. The reason I want to bring this image up for you is because, you know, and I just released the video this morning on the main Den of Nerds channel talking about the post-credit leaks and talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day. The rumor right now is that literally another planet is going to show up in the sky. That at the end of the post-credit scene of Spider-Man Brand New Day, boom, there's another Earth. And they're slowly going to be colliding towards each other, which I think is what is in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene when Yelena's referring to the anomalies in space and all that sort of shit, right? So you're going to have this happen. Okay? So this final fight that they're describing between 838 and 616, I think this is what's going to happen. I'm going to make a prediction here. I think what happens is Toby's universe is destroyed by the Cabal. I think when we get to the X-Men universe, it's going to be destroyed by the Avengers and the Cabal. And that's going to be a moment where the Avengers and the X-Men realize, oh my God, we're being used and manipulated by Dr. Doom. Maybe we bring some of those X-Men back to our Earth. And we're like, okay, this is really bad. What are we going to do? But none of the incursions in the film will actually have the Earths collide. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get a little tease, and then maybe here, and then maybe it gets a little bit closer in this. And then at the end of the film, I think we will actually have worlds collide. And you'll have this depicted in the film. Like, actually, like, helicarriers, battle cruisers, ships, planes, all kinds of stuff coming off of one planet into the other one. I mean, imagine what this could look like, guys. And think about how the Russos like to cook visually. Imagine it. It's like a Death Star versus a Death Star, except it's actually two Earths. It's all the heroes and villains of one Earth versus all the heroes and villains of another Earth. And the main thing is going to be like New York, where they're trying to like take each other out. Because that's the Avengers' like main thing. My God. This could be incredible. And then later on it says, basically, that this fight is not going to end. The planets will collide, and devastatingly, we will watch all of these people die. The battle itself is going to have a lot of people die, but then the planets are going to collide, and we're literally going to watch everybody die. All the wounded people that are barely making it, they're all going to die. And I would imagine, to the Russos, they're probably thinking, we need it to be more brutal than the snap, right? So they're probably thinking, I need this to be... I want people to be actually even more horrified than what they were with the snap, which, you know, there's all kinds of ways you could try to do that or whatever. But like the devastation of these worlds colliding into each other, I think would be absolutely incredible. But to go back to the leak, okay? So they have them fighting. There's a bunch of stuff that happens in the key sequence, right? So Wanda Maximoff is going to be manipulated by Doom. Sentry's going to be manipulated by Doom. In a key sequence, Sentry goes berserk and begins killing people on 838, unleashing the Void. Now, again, I don't understand this, though. Weren't the Avengers fighting against Doom? So when Doom kills the X-Men universe, does he take Wanda? Does he take Void? Are they already, like, gone? Why would Void then be hurting the people of 838 if they're on Team Doom, right? So what I think might be going on here is that what Doom's actually doing is actually just trying to make it so nobody wins. He actually wants nobody to win. Because he doesn't want anybody to stop him. He doesn't want anybody to stop his plan, right? So, this is just kind of interesting. It's kind of hard to wrap our heads around some of this stuff, right? So you got the Void going on in 838. Charles Xavier decides to sacrifice himself, manages to save Bob from the Void, freeing him from Doom's control. Still under Doom's influence, Wanda kills Jean Grey. Bro, if we get to see Wanda, full-on Chaos Magic Wanda, kill Jean Grey Phoenix, I'm going to shit my pants. Before dying, with her final breath, she transfers the Phoenix Force into Cyclops. And let me just tell you this. If we get to see James Marsden in grief, like this is fucking Namek and Krillin just got bloated up by Frieza, if we get to watch James Marsden go Super Saiyan and tap into the power of the Phoenix Force and overpower Wanda, oh my God. Like, I almost don't want to believe it. I almost don't want to believe that this could be real because, like, it's getting me too hyped, dude. Come on, man. Come on. Come on now. Come on now. Whew. That's crazy. Okay, anyway. Wanda kills Jean, does this. Doc Strange and Clea manage to save Wanda, and together they magically transport Sentry to Doctor Doom. The collisions of the universes is imminent. The surviving heroes travel by ship to the Raft, a structure built using the combined technology of Reed Richards and Hank Pym. Among the survivors are Reed Richards, Shuri, Star-Lord, Captain Marvel, Vision, Wong, the Young Avengers, Cyclops, Storm, Iceman, Sam Wilson, Beast, Spider-Man, Yelena, Bucky, Ghost, and U.S. Agent. There are also no other individuals on the raft, including villains who managed to infiltrate it thanks to Namor. The Cabal, formed by King Thanos, the leader of it, Maestro, the Maker, Black Swan, Namor, Corvus Clave, Proxima Midnight, also take refuge there. That's pretty incredible. As the collision becomes imminent, the remaining forces and villains, badly injured, fail to survive the impact. The worlds collide violently. The raft sinks to the depths of the ocean and enters the quantum realm. Everybody faints in the darkness. So that's it. That's insane. If that was just the ending, guys, it would already be peak. This would already be insane. But there's a whole other absolutely insane battle that's going to happen. So this is like, okay. So let's hang on though. Let's talk about this. Yeah, it's basically time runs out, and what a great adaptation of it. To be honest, I couldn't have imagined that they would actually pull this off. So let's talk about this for a second, though. So, the Cabal, Doom's Illuminati. Seems like it's real. Seems like this has been out there for some time. I mean, Alex Perez has been talking about this for like over a year, right? Like King Thanos, Maestro, the other members. Literally, been hearing about that for over a year. So either this leaker has been paying attention to all the same shit that we have, or this leak is based off of the actual information, which the leakers also had access to a long time ago. That's crazy, man. So they transport. So basically, you're gonna have this epic fight, and at one point, everybody's going to realize that there is no hope. So King Thanos and all of the Cabal are literally going to say, "It's over. The universes are going to collapse." We have to make it to this. We have to follow the heroes with their secret way out or something, right? Or maybe the maker tells them of it. And the same thing's going to happen with the heroes, where basically like it's going to get to this point where everybody bails. This is exactly what happens in Hickman's Secret Wars. And time runs out. One of my favorite parts was as they were preparing for the end, there's this part where Valeria, who, by the way, we're going to talk about Valeria. Oh my God. But there's this part where Valeria Richards tells her dad, you've been trying to win this whole time. You've got to start to try to think about how not to lose. And that's what convinces him to like build the raft and to come up with the plan for the new universe. They start to actually think about what heroes and what people are most important. They can only save so many, and which ones are important. And they go through like the merits of each person and character and who they want. And they end up like teleporting some people who aren't like, people don't even realize what's happening. Some of them just get teleported into the ship as this final battle is happening, and they all like just survive the end of the multiverse. So it seems like that's going to happen. Now, the thing about the raft is kind of wild, because like a lot of like people think it's the raft from like the prison from Brave New World. Okay. So chat, you guys watch Marvel Zombies. I did not watch Marvel Zombies. Is there something about the raft that is explained in Marvel Zombies that could make me understand this? Or is it just the life raft from the Hickman comics? Because I some people on Twitter were like, you need to watch Zombies. Hell no. But you guys could explain it. It moves. It's able to move in the ocean. Okay, so it's able to move. They use it to travel across the ocean. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so maybe what they'll do is retrofit that with Reed Tech and Hank Pym Tech and create the life raft. Either way, at some point in the battle, dude, everybody's going to be dying. People, it's like crazy. And then it's like, it's over. The worlds are literally going to collide. The Earths are going to collide. Let's get out of here. And the Cabal and some villains make it to the raft, and the heroes make it to the raft, okay? And then they shrink into the ocean, into the quantum realm, and then they're going to pop up, because we're going to talk about the post-credit scenes later, but they're going to pop up later on Battleworld. Okay, so that's one thing that happens, and can you imagine what that's going to look like as you're watching everybody die in that epic battle? And then, as if that weren't enough, chat, we cut to a massive battle erupting at the TVA, where Doctor Doom faces the multiversal Avengers assembled by Loki. Oh my fucking God. The team consists of Captain America, W, Ghost Rider, W, Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, W, Blade, there's only going to be one Blade, W, Elektra, W, Gambit, he's going to make a name for himself, W, Wolverine, W, Deadpool, W, X-23, W, Captain Carter, L, but that's fine, Thor, along with variants of Captain America and Thor, and the superior Iron Man wielding the Infinity Stones. Oh my fucking God. Okay, hang on. So let's talk about this. Which Ghost Rider? Which one do you think, motherfucker? It's Nick Cage! Maybe. We'll see. But I think it's Nick Cage. So, Captain America. That's probably Steve Rogers, okay? Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, Blade, Elektra, Gambit, Wolverine, Deadpool, X-23, Captain Carter, Thor, along with variants of Captain America and Thor, and the superior Iron Man wielding the Infinity Stones. Okay, couple of different things we got to talk about here. Which, by the way, I'm gonna do a whole dedicated video to just this section because it's nuts. But man, this is making me think of all kinds of shit. Oh my God! First of all, chat, come on, man, this is pretty fucking hyped, huh? Like, imagine we're all sitting there, we're in the theater together. You know, we just watched the crazy battle with King Thanos, Maestro, the Cabal. Fucking Cyclops got the Phoenix Force, guys. Like, and we're like, whoa, dude, fucking whoa. And then that classic vignette that the Russos do with like an establishing shot of the Void. The Void. and we're hearing like Avengers assemble, and then it's like and it's fucking like these heroes fighting against Doom and the fucking Doom bots and shit. Guys, like, this feels like a religious experience. I hope this is real. It tracks with stuff we've heard. We think that those characters are being saved and they're going to be multiversal Avengers assembled by Loki. Now, Captain America is Steve Rogers. Our Steve Rogers. The one that went to go live with Peggy Carter. So that's kind of interesting. So this would obviously be after the big scene that happens with Peggy Carter, Captain America, Doctor Doom, and Loki. We know there's a big scene with those four characters that was shot on the Windsor estate in what they codenamed the Luke Cage house, which is actually the house from the 60s where Captain America lived with Peggy Carter. So this scene here at the end with the Multiversal Avengers is after that moment. Fascinating. Is Doctor Doom trying to kill Steve Rogers not because he caused all of the incursions, but because he knows he will lead the Multiversal Avengers? And he's trying to stop Prime Captain America from assembling Avengers with Loki? Wouldn't that be fascinating? What if that happens at like the very start of the film? I don't know. There's some interesting things going on here. Anyway, so you have that group there. Very cool. Thor, along with variants of Captain America and Thor. Now, this to me makes me think of two things. Number one, it makes me think of all the Avengers Forever rumors. A lot of people speculated about Avengers Forever. And I think getting a ton of variants of Thor and a ton of variants of Captain America would be really fucking cool. Okay, that really feels like some crazy ass energy from Avengers Forever. But here's the other thing. Recently, it came out, and I did a big video about this, but recently it came out that when Loki decided to hold the multiverse together and create the tree, he created more variant universes than had ever existed before. So technically speaking, within that multiverse, there are more Captain Americas and there are more Thors than ever existed before. And so what a crazy fun thing that Loki might, and by the way, this could connect to Thor because it says here that Thor is the one that has these variants with him. We know Thor has some kind of a big role in the Avengers, right? Doomsday. So what if Loki has a scene with his brother and tells him to go throughout the multiverse and recruit all of these different Thors and all of these different Captain Americas. And so what if this is like one of the B plots or the C plots where like at various points throughout the film, we keep seeing our Thor going to like slightly different versions of our Infinity Saga, where he then would recruit a version of Thor and a version of Captain America. That could be really cool. That could be a really fun little thing to sort of bring full circle and end up at the end with the Multiversal Avengers. Yeah, kind of cool. So anyway, you have them, and then it says Superior Iron Man wielding the Infinity Stones. Now, hold on for just a goddamn second here. Okay? So obviously, my fanboy dreaming brain goes right to Tom Cruise Iron Man. I needs it. I needs my Tom Cruise Iron Man. I needs it. I needs it. I wants it. I wants it and I needs it. Okay? But it could just be RDJ. Okay? It could just be RDJ. Superior Iron Man. Well, doesn't this feel like the Iron Man from 838? Because it is the Iron Man from 838. That's the Superior Universe. That's what I was told anyway. And Superior Iron Man was on the table to be there. And of course, they were going to do a couple of different things with that. One of them was going to be a version that was Obadiah Stane. So they were going to cook something with Obadiah where he had become Iron Man or Ironmonger in the future. There was Tom Cruise Iron Man rumors where Tom Cruise was going to play Iron Man or a variant of Iron Man that was there. Maybe RDJ was going to be the evil Iron Man there as well. So that's wild. Captain America with the Infinity Stones. Now, this obviously could be even ours from like 616 where he's fighting Thanos and he gets pulled out there or whatever, because I have some theories about that as well. But if it's Superior Iron Man, that's kind of wild. Now, do you know what this makes me think of, guys? Do you remember a couple of months ago when the Scoopers came out and said that there would be variants of Marvel characters that showed up in these Avengers films that would be essentially one-offs that you would never see again? Let me see if I can search Twitter and find this. Avengers variants one-off. Let me see if I can find this. The Russo brothers confirmed the two variants. I gotta try to find it, man. There was a couple of reports about this, that there would be variant versions that you would only see in these next two Avengers movies, and then you would never see them again. Man, I got to try to find that report again. So when I heard that report, that popped into my mind when I heard this stuff here. Because this is the time to do that. And again, if what they say in the story is that when Loki created the tree and was just holding everything together, that he created more variants than ever, then yeah, obviously you're going to have variants that you might never see again. Because the natural order of the multiverse would probably return after Secret Wars, or we would assume. So that's crazy. So guys, we're going to go from King Thanos, Maestro Hulk, the Maker, and all the superior variants on 838. They're going to be fighting against 616. Everybody's fighting for their survival. Apparently Doom's involved and he's fucking with everybody still. And they're all going to be destroyed. The two teams escape. We cut to the void. And we're going to have Doctor Doom and an army of Doombots. Doom and an army of Doombots fighting against the multiversal Avengers. And I bet it's multiversal Dooms, too. I bet it's more than Doombots. I bet we see other variants of Doom, too. But even if it's just Doom and Doombots, it says here, despite their combined strength, Doom defeats the multiversal Avengers, leaving only Thor, Loki, and Captain America, our Steve Rogers, standing. The trio fights to protect Loki, but are ultimately overpowered. In the end, Doom takes Loki's power, along with those of Wanda and the Sentry. After absorbing their powers, Doctor Doom sits upon a throne, with Doctor Strange, now his sheriff, at his side. Which is like, damn, right? The Sentry to his left, Scarlet Witch to his right, and as worlds collide, universes shatter, and nothing remains. Only Doom. Holy shit, bro. Holy shit. Holy shit. I mean, can you imagine, dude? What about the Dark Avengers? Not in the movie, no Hydra Cap. No, I think those rumors were mostly not true. The Dark Avengers, yeah. I think they're mostly not true. They could be in the film still, technically. Because there's other stuff. Like we heard maybe there's a Bucky Captain America that'll show up with all the Captain Americas at the end. That makes sense, yeah. Do you think absorbing the powers of Wanda and Sentry could be related to Agatha? Maybe. I'm not exactly sure how, but maybe, yeah. I mean, she absorbs powers, yeah. But a King Thanos and Maker are. King Thanos is likely to be played by, obviously, Brolin, right? A lot of evidence of that, by the way. A lot of the scoopers have been talking about that for a while. Maestro Hulk is probably Ruffalo. Could be Eric Bana, though. That'd be kind of fun. Maker is probably Krasinski. I imagine Mordo with the Time Stone brings John Krasinski back to life after the Wanda event, and they start getting really dark after that. I bet he becomes the Maker after that. Nothing like getting turned into spaghetti and having your head popped to make you turn dark and evil. But if not, maybe it's Miles Teller. I heard some rumors that maybe it was going to be Miles Teller. You know what else? Ion Gufrid. I don't know how to say his name exactly, but I heard there was some stuff where he shot some stuff for Marvel. So it could be him. Could be him. But then again, maybe it's just that universe being destroyed. A lot of different ways this could go, chat. Yeah. Seems like he isn't in the movie. Oh no, dude, I feel like 99% sure that he's in the movie, yeah. Yeah, the Josh Brolin Thanos, dude. Yeah, I'm very confident he's in it, yeah. In my opinion, this is way too ambitious to be what Marvel is doing. It feels that way, but you know what I keep coming back to is the Channing Tatum comments. And in fact, chat, I'm going to be real with you guys. Can I be honest with you? Can I be 100% real with you? I think Channing's the 4chan leaker. Okay? And I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. Okay? But think about it like this. Channing Tatum, or Chan as I call him, Chan has been like the only person out here really talking about Doomsday like that, okay? And do you know what he keeps saying? What does Chan keep saying? Every single time he gets a second to say it. What does he say? Every single time he's saying you're not ready. People are going to say, how did they do this? It's going to melt people's brains. He's been saying this. In fact, it actually was beginning to get a little bit much. It felt like I was just living my daily life, going about my business, and like everywhere I turned, Channing Tatum's like popping out of a corner like it's a goddamn TV commercial. And I'd be like, did you know that the Russo brothers really cooked? People aren't really ready for this one, Josh. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I'm trying to take a shit. Like he won't stop. It was beginning to get to be a little bit much. And then all of a sudden we get one of the craziest leaks ever on 4chan that basically confirms everything he's been trying to get us to pay attention to for 2+ months. Come on, man. You're not slick, Chan. You're not slick, dog. But, you know, I could be wrong on that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the post-credit scenes, too, because this one's pretty crazy. It's probably linked at the bottom here, huh? Yeah, post-credit scenes. Okay. So that is apparently the way that the film will go, which, by the way, Marvel, if you actually deliver this, I don't know what to say. Everything is Can we admit something together, chat? If this is real, everything is forgiven. I'm gonna be honest, everything. You have literally made all of the bad things okay. Yeah. So hoping it's real, because you are forgiven. Now, let's then talk about the post-credit scenes. You know, I put this in the video earlier today. This is very different. This would be a big different move compared to what they did in Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. When Avengers Infinity War was going, there was no post-credit scene. You know, we end the movie, it's after the dusting, after the snap, and you're like, oh shit. And we really did not know what was going to be happening in the next one, in Endgame. And we followed along with the leaks and everything, but really, Endgame was so ambitious and crazy. A lot of people did not think the time heist thing would be real. I remember when that leaked, people were like, there's no way they would do this. So it was ambitious in the same way that we're kind of talking about Doomsday right now, where we're like, damn, this is just like, that's crazy ambitious. Like, I don't know. Anyway, this, if it's real, suggests that Marvel is taking a different approach this time, meaning there will be post-credit scenes, and the post-credit scenes are basically teeing up what we all thought was going to happen. Okay? So, first thing it says is, according to the new leak details, the first Doomsday post-credit scene will show a new world set in the year 1600. People and children walk and talk in a peaceful environment. In the background, a green-cloaked figure stands out against the horizon. Doctor Doom. The shot reveals that Doom has recreated the world. It also features Franklin Richards, Sue Storm, and a small blonde girl. Now, there's actually a couple of different things we got to talk about with this. So it's 1600. That lines up with the concept art here, but it also tracks with some stuff that I was told. So people told me that it was actually going to be more Marvel 1600 than it was Hickman Secret Wars, and I was like, wow, that's kind of interesting, kind of fascinating. I guess from a budget perspective, that's probably easier to pull off, right? Like actually do 1600, and that's a little easier than like, oh, it's 1600s with also Marvel Zombies and, you know, the Green Island with all the Hulks, and then, you know, the Ultron Johns and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And then Ben Grimm's The Wall and Galactus is the Torch and Johnny Storm's the Sun, right? So maybe a little more dialed back as compared to what we would think. People and children walk and talk in a peaceful environment. In the background, a green cloaked figure stands out against the horizon, the Doctor Doom. Now, something that's kind of interesting about that is why green? Why would he be in green if he had become God Emperor Doom? And we've seen in the concept art that he's going to wear white when he's God Emperor Doom. Is that something that happens later? Does Doom himself wake up on the world like everybody else? Not necessarily in the same way that he did in the Hickman Secret Wars. And then from there, does he become God Emperor Doom, put himself on the throne, and become Emperor? I'm not really sure. The other thing that's interesting is Franklin Richards, Sue Storm, and a small blonde girl. Now, dude, this one has me pretty excited because Valeria Richards is one of my favorite characters in Marvel Comics, and she's a character that is literally named by Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom thinks of her as his nephew or even surrogate daughter. She calls him Uncle Doom. They have a very special bond and a connection. And we didn't get Valeria in the Fantastic Four movie. And a lot of us were kind of bummed about this, but there were rumors that maybe we would. First of all, it was just kind of interesting that Sue Storm, actress herself, Vanessa Kirby, was pregnant again. And there were some people suggesting that maybe when they shot certain things on Doomsday, if she was pregnant, maybe they were like, okay, well, maybe we'll roll with this. And there's this other girl. But then, of course, if she's already in Battleworld, that wouldn't necessarily make sense. But what they could do is shoot her as pregnant with the daughter in Doomsday. And then she becomes actually there in Secret Wars. In the post-credit scene, guys, did you think that Sue was pregnant in that post-credit scene? I don't know. So this is kind of interesting. If it is Valeria Richards, the small blonde girl, that would be really interesting because she's a great character. Doom and her have a very special bond, so that could be there to sort of characterize Doom. It's also interesting that, like, if Doom is creating his own reality, he takes Reed's family, but he also, like, brings in the daughter that Reed was about to have or whatever. Does he know that in other realities they've had a bond? I don't know. This is all interesting. So Valeria Richards possibly teed off in that first post-credit scene. That's kind of cool. Now, the second post-credit scene says that this is 8 years after Doomsday on Battleworld in this new world. And explorers find the raft lost in the depths of the ocean. It remains intact, covered by the passage of time, and its systems slowly begin to reactivate, revealing that the survivors are still inside. The surviving heroes travel by ship to the raft, structure built using combined technologies of Reed Richards and Hank Pym. That's from the old leak. So this would be the characters of Reed Richards, Shuri, Star-Lord, Captain Marvel, Vision, Wong, the Young Avengers, Cyclops, Storm, Iceman, Sam Wilson, Beast, Spider-Man, Tom Holland, Yelena, Bucky, Ghost, and U.S. Agent. And some of this tracks to that concept art, right? With the Young Avengers being in there, Star-Lord's in there, Vision's in there. I don't know, guys. This could be real. This could be real. Fascinating. Fascinating. So again, the reason this would be so different than Endgame is because the post-credit scenes are basically just going to show you Battleworld and show you how these heroes survived into Battleworld and set up Secret Wars and the story in Secret Wars. So, look, a lot of the times, guys, we talk about Marvel, and when we get a leak, we'll be like, oh, what if it means this? And then we go on the speculation, and we're like, oh my God, the speculation is so much better than what Marvel is doing. If this leak is real, I have to really give credit to Marvel because they actually cooked. And also, if this leak is fake, whoever wrote this is incredible because they figured out a way to do all the things I wanted and actually set up what would appear to be a super satisfying Secret Wars adventure with a lot of Marvel characters that, like, somehow, some way, I'm going to be interested in watching. Like, this would be perfect. And I didn't even come up with anything close to how this could actually work. Like, this is actually pretty legit. Pretty good way to adapt Hickman stuff. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? What happens to Loki, Thor, and Cap then? They're dead. I think they're gone. I think they're dead. Yeah. Which, this is something I got into in the video today on the main channel too. But yeah, the only issue I have with the way that this leak is going is that it would appear that all of the multiversal Avengers will just be gone. Right? But here's the thing. So we saw the Hulk concept art, right? It had Hulk, She-Hulk, and Scar. And they're all dressed as though they're in the 1600s. Okay. So those are all Marvel characters. They don't survive the collapse of the multiverse. But they're just there on Battleworld. So maybe some of these characters are going to go recruit some of those characters to form a Battleworld Avengers, a Resistance, which that is something that kind of happens in the Secret Wars comic as well, right? So that's kind of a way that could go. Yeah. What do you guys think? If this is fake, then I want the leaker to write his own movie because this is sick. I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's a mix of Deadpool, Wolverine, Multiverse of Madness with leaked artwork and backbone of an outline. Yeah, there's some stuff there, but we also know that Marvel really and truly does try to put stuff in certain projects. And if it doesn't work, they save it for another project. So that doesn't necessarily disprove it. It could be the case that this is people making stuff up and they're just paying attention to, like, what are the most popular rumors? And they're like, oh, this was a leak here and this is what people are into. And it could be like this reverse engineered fanboy dream of a fake leak. Absolutely could be that. But I don't know. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure, guys. Uh-oh, Kevin Feige's in here. Kevin! Kevin! I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm sorry, Kevin. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't mean to make you cry, but tonight we're going over leaks. I'm changing everything? God damn it. This is why we can't have nice things, dude. This is why we can't have nice things. What do you think, chat? What do you guys think of this? This is fucking wild, dude. This is, and I think people are still absorbing this. Like, I think people are still kind of like trying to make sense of this or process this. But I think this could be like, this could be some heat, dude. Like, we might actually be back. Like, this is fucking crazy. Damn it, you keep missing my comment and I can't super chat. Why can't you super chat? Why, are you banned? Did you get banned? Zach Tech says, okay, I don't like saying this. Maestro Hulk being played by Lou Ferrigno. Ooh, that would be hype, dude. What characters do you think will die in Doomsday? Like, pretty much all of them. All of them except the well, it's but see, here's the thing: like Hulk's gonna die, but then he'll be on Battleworld, right? So yeah, Doomsday delayed indefinitely. No, I don't think so. Josh hates everything. You don't say that. I hope it's not a red herring. I hope it's not a blue herring. It proves my theory of Doom getting his powers from infinity beings. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I could see that. Oh, yeah, I could see that. Yeah. The 8-year time skip is done to age up Valeria. Ooh, I like that shit. This man's cooking. Ooh, I like that shit. Why are people immediately rushing to say it's fake? Because it actually sounds incredible, Kaylin. And we're programmed now to just not think Marvel can actually cook like this. Sorry to spam. It's okay. I forgive you, bud, but just barely. I like where your head is at. Thank you, Kevin. I have lost all faith in Disney and Marvel. If it's awesome, you can bet they aren't doing it. See, that's what that's what I'm saying. Like, that's dead ass what it is. That's what it is, man. Valeria born on Doom's Battle World. Could that give her special powers? Ooh, I like where your head's at with that, Vinny. Yeah, maybe, huh? Yeah. Do Valeria and X-23 ever team up? Not that I know of. Not that I know of, but yeah. Spider-Man Brand New Day is almost there. What? Toby, Chris, and Chris are in Secret Wars, so they don't die. So, yes, but they could die. I mean, Toby Spider-Man, what if Toby Spider-Man is one of the Dukes? What if Toby Spider-Man is like a baron of the Spider Island? And they go there and Toby Spider-Man is like Tom's Spider-Man is trying to convince him that he has to join up. And he's like, hell no, Dr. Doom's awesome. Look at all the shit he gave me. It's always pizza time here, you know? Like, we have to start maybe coming to terms with Secret Wars might be real funky, you know? Andrew will die like Gwen? Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. So there's some really... Because I remember one of the things a scooper told me was that the 3 Spider Boys would have to fight each other in Secret Wars. And I was like, okay, this is probably because there'll be a gladiatorial ring or something. Maybe they catch Spider-Man, or maybe the other Spider-Men are working for Doom and they catch Tom. You know what I mean? Where the F is S-tier Green Goblin? I don't know where he'll be. To the death? They might have to fight to the death. Yeah, maybe. Where is Galactus? I'm not sure. I don't know if the Galactus will have much to do with any of this. Who are your scoopers? I won't fire them. Oh, okay. Here's who it is. It's Luis D'Esposito. It's the person that came up with the ideas for Secret Invasion. It's Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel herself, Amon. She's one of my sources. Definitely fire her. She-Hulk, Tatiana Maslany. She's one of the leakers. Brie Larson. Brie Larson, actually. Hardcore leaker. Unfortunately, Dominic Thorne. Big leaker, I heard. Yeah. Kathleen Kennedy, definitely. Leaker, yep. Yep. All women, guys? Whoa, what? I didn't say that. It's not all women. It's not no girls allowed, but I would say, Sharon Carter, actress big time leaker. Haley, you know, unfortunately, big time leaker. Yeah. The chick that played the Red Scarlet in Moon Knight, she's a leaker. The Echo gal, she was a leaker. Damn, maybe it is all the ladies. Wasn't there a rumor leak that in Secret Wars, Wanda and Galactus would fight? I have not heard that. I've never heard that, but that sounds kind of cool. Okay, Kevin, you got it? Cool, bud. Good talk. The DCU has openings for them all. Yeah, to hold up the for sale sign in front of the building for 24 hours. Everything must go. Warner Brothers, huh? Warner Brothers, they didn't even want a brother. That's the worst part. They didn't even warn a brother. Okay, guys, what else is going on, man? Anything else you guys are curious about? Anything else you want to talk about with the leaks, the rumors, just in general? What else is going on, man? I got to get on out of here, but I got a lot of cooking to do. Some actual food because I'm really hungry, and then some videos. Screen Crush said Fantastic Four was bad. Well, they're bad for thinking that, and for saying it, they're terrible people. What about the Punisher special presentation leak in the Brand New Day about the gang war? You want me to cover that? Should I get in there? I didn't think I should. Maybe I should. Justin. Yo, can I tell you guys something I was thinking about doing, but I felt like maybe it was a little too much? I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm on my I don't gaff arc. You know, I've kind of entered into this, you know, some might call it super based arc. Anyway, I randomly found yesterday a really crazy opinion that exists in a lot of 4chan type of groups. Okay. And I wonder if any of you knew this or not. Did you guys know that The Dark Knight is considered in certain circles to be a pro-fascist movie? Have you ever heard this? So I heard this recently and I was like, what the fuck? And so I felt like, man, wouldn't it be crazy if we watched The Dark Knight together? We did a watch party. Like, imagine this as a title. Let's rewatch The Dark Knight to make sure it isn't fascist. And then we sit there and we watch The Dark Knight, analyzing it through the lens of like, could this be a pro-fucking-fascist? Is Christopher Nolan pro-fascist? Which, by the way, you're looking at some of the other stuff Nolan has said, and it actually does kind of give you a little bit of pause. But you know, I don't know. Is that a little too crazy, guys? Why so fascist? That's funny, dude. Why so fascist? Oh, my God. And then there's a big conversation going on right now about Star Wars and fascism, too, you know. No politics. Right. Yeah, you're right, Adam. You're right. Adam, you're a great producer. You know, you don't really do shit, but occasionally keep me on track. So thank you. Yeah, just a little, bro. Would that be too much, chat? Would that be too much? Would people be like, first he's saying no girls allowed, now he's saying Dark Knight is fascist? What is going on with Josh? Should I just drop it or should we do it? So basically what all producers are? Yeah, that's true. I gotta be real. When I heard about that, I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? I mean, if anything, back in the day, I remember thinking that Dark Knight Returns was actually like anti-communist, which is probably a hot take, but like I think actually what he was trying to say with Bane was actually like kind of like anti-communist and maybe even anti-radical. You know what I mean? But to say that the Dark Knight is pro-fascism, I was like, what the fuck? How does that even? So I gotta check it out for myself. I have to see what they're saying. Yeah, kind of interesting. Is this some Dark Knight iceberg shit? Maybe there is an iceberg on it. Maybe it would be worth looking into. Yeah. I'd have to like go back and see what exactly they're even trying to say with that. You should do it tonight in place of Nerd Theory. No. No, I've got a lot going on, and I can actually make some serious headway on some of the work. So I'm looking forward to getting some of that done today and tomorrow. Iceberg Lounge. Oh, I like where your head's at with that. This leak could be true since it lines up with Chris Claremont's 2 Wandas, 4 characters by RDJ, and 2 Cap leaks from January. And 4 Cap leak from January. Yep. Dude, there's a lot that lines up with this leak. Yeah. Yep, I found that one to be pretty interesting, though. I was like, man, The Dark Knight, huh? Have to check it out. Have to check it out. Why are you so sweaty? I was watching Cops. Well, I know the Cops is on at 4:30 and 6:30. Ba-da-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. All right, guys, anything else you want to go over? Any last minute questions, comments, concerns? I'm going to get out of here soon. Good stream, going over the leaks. Nice, fun thing to kind of start the week off with, man, on a Monday. And, I know the videos are doing pretty well. People seem to be excited about the leaks. I'm cooking some other content up. Of course, the clips will drop later. Yeah. Anything else going on, guys? What else is on your mind? Army of Steve Rogers all say Avengers assemble at once. That's hot. That's hot. Let's get it. Well, if the leak fake, run it through AI. We can make our own. What? Josh, the scene where the spy on citizens to find the Joker with sonar is probably the scene. Interesting. Yeah. Josh sounds like J.R.R. Martin saying he's got a lot of work to do. Hey, you don't say that. Watch Sinners on 2026 is cursed for you. What the fuck, dude? You put that evil on me? You really got me in a box on that one. If this is fake, then the guy who made it is perma online. Yeah, fair. What do I think of DC's Absolute Universe? I'm only like a couple of issues in on each character, and it's great. Very behind, but yeah, I'm gonna try to catch up. DC's killing it right now. Oh my God, Justin! Holy shit! Holy shit! That's a take. That is a take. Yeah. Do you think comic book cast saying Paramount will end the DCU? Comic book cast saying that Paramount would end the DCU. I think it's possible, yeah. I think Paramount would potentially end the DCU. I don't know what the percentage is, but yeah, I mean, does anybody doubt it? Look, anytime, even if it wasn't Ellison, even if they weren't trying to like kind of carve out their own name, anytime there's a merger or a purchase, the chances of a Black Swan event happening go way up. So obviously when this company's being, whatever it is, consolidated or purchased or whatever, of course, the percentage chance of Gunn going away and like a reboot happening goes way up. Now, what is the overall percent chance of it happening? It's still probably fairly low. But yeah. Yeah, we'll see, man. We shall see. I don't know. I think Gunn could get it sorted out. I like his Superman movie. All of his other crap I'm not watching. I like Superman though, and I would be really excited to see more. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not so invested and I don't so love where everything's going that I'm like, dude, a reboot would be the worst thing ever. Because I'm pretty sure you could reboot now and we'd probably get to DC Batman or new Batman, actual Justice League just as quickly. Literally just as quickly. That's not necessarily Gunn's fault, but that is, that's the way it is. When Absolute Joker dropped, everyone across the internet was saying, back it up, Batman, and I don't blame them. What the fuck? Gunn is about to make a name for himself here. Maybe. Peacemaker Season 2 took all the hype away, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so how many of you guys watched Grace's movie math yesterday? You're among friends. You can admit it. I watched Grace's movie math. I mean, I like Grace. A lot of you guys are like, nah, Grace. I think Grace is great, you know? You know, super lefty, but that's fine. So anyway, on Grace's movie math yesterday, she said a couple of things that were really interesting. She said even into week 5, Peacemaker... The hell's that? Do you guys hear that? What the? Do you hear that? Does nobody hear that? I'm the only one that hears it? Well, that's a sign. We gotta get out of here. Anyway, let me just make this last point. Grace made a really interesting couple of points on her movie math last night. First off, Peacemaker into episode 5 has still not charted on Nielsen, which is pretty wild. Now, maybe 6 and on will chart because that's where all the juicy stuff is apparently supposed to happen. But it has not charted yet. And there are other shows like Gen V that have charted, or that look to be charting instead of or above Peacemaker. And on top of that, HBO came out and said that Superman was their biggest opening ever. It was like bigger than Barbie or whatever. Guys, the Nielsen charts for its opening weekend have it at 4th overall. Now, technically, that only included like 3 days. We'll need to see what it looks like after the first full week. But, like, dude, it is not... Like, it might not be... Things might not be great over there. You know, like things legitimately might not be great over there. And look, Zaslav, let's be real. Zaslav's just like, pretend it's awesome, pretend it's the best thing ever because I'm trying to sell this motherfucker. Like, basically. So, weird times, guys, weird times. Anyway, I got to get on out of here because there's this crazy noise in here and I think the computer's about to explode. So, really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Much love. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Oh man. Another happy landing. Oh man, wait until you see what we got cooking. Oh my god. We're just getting started. Hey, get on out of here. But when you go, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Actually, make it 2. Open up your third eye. And then watch how your stinky butt